Now, I'm not even talking about heaven, hell.
Right.
Right now, today.
Right.
Having joy in myself. You know why we have so much anxiety?
Holy is joyful, quality people. This is the quality life. Make sure that because we on a mission to spread practical religion. Gen Z is lonely, but I think Jackie Hill Perry in her podcast on The Basement with Tim Ross had some very, very wise words and can speak to some sort of solution. And we will, add our thoughts about exactly what the solution is to helping Gen Z with loneliness. But first, check this clip out.
In God's presence, there is fullness of joy. And there's a sense in which I don't think people believe that holiness is joyful. I think they think holiness is begrudging. I think they have this sense that letting go of the world is letting go of something good. When in fact, letting go of the world opens your hands up to God.
Correct.
Who is good.
He is good.
He is the greatest good.
Yes, that's right.
He is the creator of heaven and earth.
That's right.
And so it's hard for me to conceive the idea that dying to self is not good for me. Now, I'm not even talking about heaven, hell.
Right.
Right now, today.
Right.
Having joy in myself. You know why we have so much anxiety? So much depression? We are entertaining people who put that in us.
Woo!
They're not training us to set our minds on things above. They're not training us to cast our cares on God. They're not training us to see goodness in godliness. They're not trained. That's discipleship. We're being
Man, some heavy, heavy words. And she says holiness is joyful in a sense. So what are your initial reactions to that video?
Oh, my initial reaction, I agree with everything that she said. It kind of makes me think of, in Revelation, how they're talking about the angels and how they're like, holy, holy, holy.
Right.
That's just like what I picture, like just joy, just reverence for God, just like, yeah, holy, holy, holy. Like just light.
I hear you. I think a lot of people don't think holiness is worth it because holiness is a process, like the process of being sanctified, being made whole in the sight of God. And a lot of people want this instant gratification. They want to feel good now. And so instead of denying themselves, right, and denying the things of this world right now, they rather just, get high. They rather, take a hit of this. They rather feel good in the moment, instead of, delaying gratification and reaping a greater reward later because they're going to be in a better position to receive that reward. And also when you receive the reward later, then you don't have to go back to continually get another hit, get another dose, right? You just receive the reward and you are content. You have peace. And that is the process of becoming holy, is you have to deny yourself. I was looking at a comment that was left on one of our videos that we released earlier this week. And they were like, yeah, you have to continually pick up your cross and follow Jesus pretty much every day. I'm paraphrasing what they said. And it's like, yeah, that's the process that we have to take on every day. It's not this magical belief in Jesus. And then it's like, everything's all good. It's like, no, it's like, I believe in Jesus and now I have to, follow him to the cross, right? I have to literally follow him up the mountain to Calvary because now he's at the top of the mountain. He's being crucified so that he can be resurrected and show the world that he is whole. He is the Alpha and the Omega. And I am following him up that. I have to put in the work to sacrifice myself, die to my flesh, right? I died to my flesh on the cross beside him. And after the process is complete, I'm now a new creature. That's the symbolism of baptism. And that is the process of, being resurrected. It's like you're being made new. And that happens with big things in your life, but it also happens with small things in your life. And so big things are like giving yourself over to Jesus and making the conscious decision to aim in a better direction. But it also happens with smaller things in your life, as far as like, okay, I'm going to be better disciplined at getting up and making my bed every morning. Like, that's something small, but that can compound to being disciplined and becoming more productive and a better, steward of your talents in other areas of your life as well. All right. So we got points. So Kenya's point. What is Kenya's point?
Dying to yourself gives you the opportunity to allow God to do a thing in you.
And what is that thing, Kenya?
Whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants. So what might he do in you?
Oh, transform you, draw you closer to him, transform your heart, anything like that.
I got you. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So we also have a Bible verse that you sent in, and you said, or the Bible verse you chose was Psalm 16:11. Why did you choose that verse?
Oh, let me read it first. It says, "You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there's fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." And I chose that one because I feel like it went along with the video really well. And I mean, the part where it says, "You make known to me the path of life." Well, he does that, but I think it's our job to seek him for that path, to want him to make it known to us. And I think in that process, that is a way of dying to ourselves, because we want to know what he wants for us.
Right. And that is subsequently going to cure the problem of loneliness that leads to depression, that leads to anxiety. Things of those things in that direction start to melt away, because you're headed in the right direction. You're headed towards a better path. You're headed towards being, made whole, becoming a new person every single day. So I think that was great.
Amen.
Now I have a point, and my point is, we are entertaining people who have no interest in building with us in love, yet we buy what they sell to our flesh. No,
Dun, dun, dun.
no, this is real. This is real. Oftentimes we entertain people who, and pedestalize people who don't have our best interests at heart, who aren't in it with us, who don't love us, who aren't trying to build community with us. And so that could be your favorite social media influencer. That could be your favorite musician. A lot of these people not only are pushing selfish messages, but they're also living out selfish messages. They're making very selfish decisions, yet we are following them when we should be following Christ first and foremost as our ultimate guiding force in life, and then also building with people who have, are building with believers who are like-minded, and letting that propel us towards, having a greater sustained life and a more peaceful life. That is what's really going to solve the Gen Z loneliness problem, is building with people who are going to be there for you, who love you unconditionally, who accept you for who you are, but are going to push you for what you can be, and what you can be in Christ more specifically. And so the Bible verse that I chose was Romans 8:13, and it says, "For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, will live." And I think this is a beautiful Bible verse, because either way, something's got to die, right? Everybody talks about wanting to be free, and it's like freedom requires constraint, right? And because you always have to make a choice. It's like there's the beautiful quote, you must suffer one of two pains, the pain of regret or the pain of basically what it takes to become successful. And that is a very good illustration of how we should, go through life, is when we die to our flesh, right, and we seek holiness, right, we're going to reap a greater reward. But if we are just giving in to our carnal nature and our carnal means, well, then we're going to feel like we are degenerating, right? Because and it's a vicious cycle, because you're going to have to keep going to things that regenerate you, and then, you're going around and around and around, and now you're just in this, rat race, and this hamster wheel of essentially death, because everything in your life starts to decompose. But when you die to your flesh, the irony is that you actually live. And that is the pattern of Christ, dying to the flesh that he was in, for the everlasting life. So that life is actually opened up to you, and that you can experience the fullness of life outside of just your carnal nature. So, yeah, that's what we think. That's how we think the Gen Z loneliness problem can be solved from a biblical perspective, from a Christian perspective. But we want to know what you think. So if you're watching the replay of this, make sure that you check this video out next, because if you like this video, you're definitely going to like that video. And if you're live, we will be right back. Until next time, make sure you are not serve the Alpha
And the Omega.